Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to From the Tabletop, the TTRPG broadcast from the League of Extraordinarily OK Gamers. I'm the Wraith, your host and GM, and I am thrilled you're here and tuning in for another session of the Dawn's Our Voyage Holds. Today we get to hang out with Chasix,
Hello.
and I'm a Ginger 74. I'm a Ginger 74.
Unmuted and said hello, and it didn't pick it up. Hello.
Fantastic. Okay. All right. So, we. It's been a while for this party. This is the Into the Wilds track here. Um, so last we left you folks off. You had been sent out on a mission from Lelish, to investigate what was going on with this contact of hers, Arnid, who you had found way back when. That man, this was like 4 years ago. I feel like, where you had that sort of chase through the streets of New Water Nest, tracking down the agents of the Ebon Armada that had infiltrated New Water Nest, blah blah blah. There was like a scene of carnage that happened there that they had captured Lelish. In that she had been going to meet her agent Arnid, who in this mission that she gave you said had some urgent matter that she wished to speak with her about, which is a bit of an abnormality, that that her agent's sort of coming to talk with her specifically about something that they said was urgent. So she has sent you out to where this now dead agent had been camped out to try and see if you could figure out what this urgent thing was, now that she is dead. So, you trekked your way out into the wilds here. Off of Tojeth, which is the Toberon that New Water Nest and the Third Shoulder are on, into the Gale Wilds, which is this crazy, um, you know, wild area, and had yourself a run-in, with a large creature, who I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but they are called Ratul. Here, I'll throw this in here. It's this big sort of bird dragon thing, basically. Um, and you had a run-in with that as you were trying to get up onto these pillars, these big sort of rock pillars that this dead tree was on, where Arnid had made her camp. You got there. Brakk scared off the Ratul with some awesome animantic thing, and you made camp and were looking around. You found a couple of clues while you were there. Um, there was a bloody Gelwalker arrow, and bandages that you were able to surmise that this was a wound that was on the body when you found it. That was, an old wound, not during the sort of the massacre scene of carnage thing. So that she had been shot with an arrow by Gelwalkers, previous to when she showed up in New Water Nest. There was a note describing a location, um, that was the cause for some confusion, and then a small and Fathan medallion. So, as you guys had been taking watch that night, um, I think it was Brakk that was the last one watch and didn't do so hot on his roll, and in the very early hours of the morning, the previous Ratul that had been harassing you came back, and there was also another one that you heard. So, uh, let's pick up right there and get going. So Brakk, um, you let me see. Let me check this roll here just to make sure. So you had rolled I believe it was a 7. It's not going to be in there anymore.
Well, if it's not in there anymore, let's just re-roll it, you know?
No, I did just check to make sure. Where are my? Um, oh, maybe it was a 6. What I what I had taken from my notes is that you were uh that was what it is. So you rolled a 7 on the stay sharp roll. So you managed to sound the alarm, but no one has time to prepare, is what happened. So so you hear these two screeches from these Ratul in slightly separate areas. They just for reference sake, while we're on this cool blank map that we have here, they are coming from uh, up in sort of this direction, sort of the northwest-ish, um, northwest. And so you hear one, and as you are trying to rouse the other two, you see the previous one that you had scared off before uh, flap up,
Also damaged.
also slightly damaged. Yes, I did keep track of that. Don't worry.
Okay.
Ornn is defying danger. um, uh, you see it fly up
Did I do it?
from
Did
the
I
trees.
succeed?
hmm The danger is completely gone. They fly away, and you live happily ever after. Congratulations.
To win the game.
And that was this week's episode
you
of
win
From the
Dungeon World.
Tabletop.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks.
so much
I'll see you
for joining
all
us.
next time. Um, so you see the one that you had scared off before sort of burst up from the tree. The trees. Did I? I'm trying to remember if I had said like what color this one was. I don't remember.
Don't believe you did.
Do I have any notes on what they look like color wise? I don't know that I do. So this I think is I think I had in my head that this one was kind of reddish. Um, uh, so yeah, these are these big bird dragons. Just as a refresher, they've got four wings and back legs. They're big wicked beaks. This big like sort of mohawk-ish crest of feathers on top of their head.
are, are their wings stacked vertically, or are they like one set for shoulders and like one set coming out of their midriff?
Yeah, I think more towards the second ish. Um, yeah, I think that makes sense. um, and this one is probably the size of like a like a semi truck, like an 18-wheeler kind of a thing. So they're this big one. Um, so then as you hear this second screech from this other one, this one is a a bigger one. So
What do are they speaking to each other? Do I understand them?
um I mean, you would be able to understand. I mean, you can understand animals.
Mm-hmm.
They? I think the things that you're getting from them, they're yeah. There's a loose amount of communication between the two of them, and the the things that you're getting from them are just these sort of hyper aggressive, um, uh, kind of territorial. Uh, get off my lawn kind of a thing.
Hmm.
um, and yeah, and I think actually from that, I think you can also basically surmise that this bigger one is the this sort of like the other one is giving sort of deference to the bigger one, that this is some kind of like alpha mother kind of a thing. But this one is, if the first one was the size of like a semi truck, this is like the size of an airplane. And it is this huge, milky white feathers. It's the crest on top of its head has this kind of uh, dim sort of bioluminescent glow in it. This sort of like red and orange, almost sort of like fire like um, glow in its crest. And they both are coming straight for you on top of this pillar. And just as a kind of a note, um, you guys didn't get hit by the first one, but just to make it clear that the fiction leading here, these things are I cannot stress how dangerous these things are. So the smaller red one that you shot, you can see as it sort of like flaps up from the trees below here. It does have a little bit of a um, not a gimp, but a little bit of, you can see a little bit of a difficulty in the front left wing, where
Mm-hmm.
you shot it. Um, it's not quite as yeah. I mean, it's certainly still more or less fully capable, but you can see that small indication of some tiny little bit of damage, but um, these things are still wicked, terrifying, and horrible. So you guys, yeah. So as the text says, you manage to sound the alarm, but no one has time to prepare. So what does that look like as you were trying to rouse the other two, as these things are just screaming and you know I think the red one sort of makes a straight beeline, and the white one just sort of keeps flapping and rising higher into the air, and goes sort of over the top, and then is hundreds of feet in the air, and then just starts kind of diving.
I mean, my picture of what's happening right now is Brakk turns and kind of gets out, Ornn, Kinna, and then that screech happens, and that would be, I feel like, enough of a bone-curdling sound
Mm.
to kind of rouse them from any kind of stupor that they might like. They obviously they're still like down, but I think they probably understand the severity of the situation
Yeah,
at that
yeah.
point,
I think
right?
that would be chillingly clear for sure. So here's an honest question I have to ask, especially considering that no one has time to prepare here. How would you guys be? Well, I guess the question is, what would you have on you or near or right near you when you are sleeping in this kind of a situation? Like, for instance,
I mean, I was
are you sleeping in your armor? Are you that kind of thing?
well. I mean, I was on.
You
I
were on
was
watch, yes.
ostensibly on watch, so I have all my stuff.
Hmm.
But clearly did a shit job. But I was still, I was still prepared to do a better job.
I mean, hey, you sounded the alarm at least, so.
Yeah, 5 seconds before something happened. It's fine though. It's fine. We don't need to talk about it. AJ,
Um, I just hit you with an instantly.
Pachow! Just get it.
Now I'm gonna keep track of that. Ornn sleeps with his shield almost as a pillow,
Hmm.
um, directly next to his head. I don't like because we're in a situation that is like a dangerous territory.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any sleeping that's he's ready to go at any point.
Yeah, I buy that. In for as dangerous as these kind of this area is, and I think for as dangerous as Kinna has been trying to sort of get you to understand, as dangerous, yeah, as he is trying to get you to understand this place is, out here in the Gale Wilds, I think it's totally legitimate to be able to say that you're sleeping with your weapons nearby and your armor on, at least mostly, in a way that you're able to sort of get right up. But anyway, so what do you guys do in these sort of quick moments here, as these things are diving at you? The red one is sort of flying straight for you, and this big white one is, let's see, do I have fun tokens? Is gray? Sure, we'll use that one. And red. I'll make the red one a little smaller. As they're flying at you. So you have a few moments here to make something happen before things go real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go.
So I feel like from Ornn's perspective, he's more. Are we where? Can you tell us where we are? Are we in the trees? Are
Yeah.
we
So you
on
guys,
top of it?
this
Are
this
we?
you'd be up on top of this, uh with the little camp that was that you guys were in Arnid's little camp that she had set up there, which was inside of this sort of burnt out tree on top of this big pillar.
Okay, so there's no real escaping this. We can't run away because we're on top of a tree unless we
Well,
try to
you're in a
jump.
tree on top of a pillar. I mean,
But we climbed up here on a rope.
you climbed up here. That's true. Is the rope still there?
My thought is the rope is probably coiled, like still tied, but coiled up,
But
like we
brought
pulled
up.
it up.
Okay, I buy that. No, I mean, so I won't say that there's no escaping. I mean, there are certainly ways that you could try and get away from this. And I think like Kinnarenth is definitely, it's very clear that he is trying to figure out a way, he is making no attempts to, like, pull his bows up and ready some shots. He's looking for a way out.
I have a thought, but it could go very poorly.
Hey, I mean,
But if we don't do something, it could go very poorly.
also true.
So Brakk rushes to the opposite edge, like where the rope is, and grabs the very end of the rope and yells for the other two to come to him.
I do that.
Does Kinna come?
Yes.
Brakk hands the rope to Ornn, then grabs Ornn and grabs Kinna and jumps off the edge, pulling them with him.
So this is you said this is like the opposite side of where the rope is anchored, where the grappling hook is anchored. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're trying to like pull a swing down. Is that what's going on? Okay.
No, I'm not swinging.
Oh.
It's more just dropping.
So you're just dropping.
We're just dropping.
Okay.
And
okay, sorry, go ahead.
As we're falling, I'm going to use Animancy to solve a problem.
Great.
And use my breath to blow as hard as I can straight down and slow our descent enough that Ornn can keep a hold of the rope and hold us and stop us from splatting.
Fantastic. Let's see that roll.
All right. Let me just go ahead and hit my -1 before I
Are
do
Does that
this.
mean
you
I
well?
also need to make
So
a strength roll?
so you have just slept, right?
Right, but my bow is still beast struck.
So if I'm remembering correctly, so you okay, let's look this up.
My beast strike is taking a -1 from both of my types of animancy.
Right. So yeah, otherwise the tag and the -1 ongoing lasts until you make camp. So basically, my understanding of this is that you were basically sort of redoing it every like morning
Yes.
when you get up or something.
Yep.
So sort of resetting it and redoing it. So have you already reset your B strike? Basically, I'm giving you an opportunity to not have that -1 right now.
Right, but that is not a thing that
Okay,
he would have done. He
great.
would have
Immediately.
if he was going to sit on watch, he would
Okay,
have
had
set
it up
his
already.
beast strike so he was ready if something happened.
Great.
So I appreciate you trying to make this easier, but that ain't Brakk.
Okay, great.
Um,
I appreciate the honesty to the fiction.
all right. So I'm at -1 forward and animancy problem 8.
Okay. So choose the spell takes effect, but choose 2.
I'm going to choose the spell won't last long, and you'll need to hurry to take advantage of it.
Makes sense.
And I'm gonna say the spell has unforeseen side effects and might draw unwanted attention.
Beautiful. Okay, so
We got 2 dragons coming at us. It can't get much worse.
I mean, so so here's what goes down then. So you drop and you give this sort of breath push um, down as you, and I think um, do you have any vision of what that looks like physically?
I'm picturing I jump off, like dive face first, kind of pulling these two on either side of me, uh, and just like nose to the ground, am headed straight for it, and I just pull in this huge breath and blow out, uh, and kind of snap back and having both of them like by the back of their shirts
Mm-hmm.
and pulling them back up long enough for Ornn to kind of pull the rope tight or get a good handle on it so that he can kind of take over holding all of our weight.
Yeah, good. Um, so your intention is to kind of end up hanging on the end of this rope, because remember the rope is hanging like the end of the rope is hanging like 20 feet off the ground here. As we
My
had
my
established last
intention
time.
is that maybe 5 feet before the rope would have snapped taut,
Uh huh.
I hit this. We slow down enough so that he can then finish slowing us, and then we can drop the last 20 feet.
Okay. Okay. Um. Great. So, Ornn, how does what do you think your sort of reaction and how you're going along with this is going uh in the process of this as he's describing what's going on?
Orn gets it, but he's been in situations like this before. Like he knows he's the strength of the group. As soon as he's given the rope, I would say he realizes that he remembers like, okay, this is like he's bracing for impact for sure. So he's like holding on. He's like, flexing the muscles, like getting ready to like hold on to everybody
Mm-hmm.
as we hit the bottom. And I don't think he even knows like the animancy part of it. He has no idea that that's going to happen. He's just
Okay.
ready for
You're just ready for me to get your arm ripped off when I.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's the type of person he is. Like he's willing to take those shots for other people. So he's ready to like he's embracing. He's like ready for pain.
Mm. Cool. So yeah, so as you're doing that, you all hit the drop, and I think this breath thing, Brakk, feels for you like you're you think this is going to be just sort of you kind of breathing, like you're saying, sort of breathing out of your mouth, or whatever. But I think as you sort of push this breath out, it's a much kind of bigger exhale than you think. Um, because as the animantic power sort of takes over, it's almost like you're as if your whole like body, and the sort of the air around you is sort of doing uh, this exhale, um, and uh, as you do this sort of bit of kind of air wave sort of shoots out. You can see, the way that like a helicopter when it's taking off sort of has this wave of air down on the ground beneath it. You see that kind of push out, um, and there's long grass and shrubs and low bushes and things like that just sort of like whoosh out from the landing zone, and you see a bunch of uh, birds and stuff kind of go flying up, and small animals just sort of like shooting out. So there's a lot of things that have kind of noticed what's gone on here, and a few of the animals, in some of those things that sort of shoot up and fly, you see, a small group of those, fun, uh, uh, hummingbird mosquito things, sort of loop up and sort of uh, loop back around, and come straight towards you. Um, and uh, the red the red one has sort of come and is now trying to sort of like circle around the tops of these, and you see the gray one just go shooting past as it dives um, over the top, and then kind of like wheels around. So the red one here is kind of trying to get a look around for you guys, and it has the advantage of these hummingbird mosquitoes things that uh, have locked onto you specifically, Brakk. And so what happens when you guys hit the ground here? Basically, is a bit of a sort of a jolt tangle, but you're able to get enough of this breath out that slows your fall, and I mean does what you wanted to do here. Um, so where are you going from there? The hummingbird mosquito things are coming after you. You've got the red one circling around, and I think for this second you have lost sight of the big white one.
Are we on the ground or are we at the end of the rope?
You can be where you want to be at this point.
The ground is where we want to be. I
Yeah.
would follow Kinnarenth, because he knows this land more than we do.
Yeah. I think Brack's first instinct would probably be to defer to his judgment in dealing with this thing too. What does he make a move, or is he like, oh fuck, I just fell off a building?
So I think at the end he kind of slips out of your grip and sort of like does a roll on the ground, and comes straight up and with a bow in his hand, or one of his bows in two of his hands, and takes a shot and shoots down one of the hummingbird mosquito things, and says over to you guys, the Rotula territorial. I think our only hope is to try and get out of their territory right now. We have to run.
Yeah, Brakk knocks a set of arrows and levels them at the mosquito things. And I am going to go ahead and do a blot out the sun roll.
Beautiful.
So let's see. I have currently 3 arrows, so I'm gonna spend 2 ammo.
And remind me how
Put that
this
down.
move works.
So I'm gonna do a volley, and then each ammo I spend hits an extra target.
Okay.
And I roll once and apply damage to all targets. So, whoops, yeah, there it is. So I'm now back on +1 forward for my volley because of my beast strike. That is a damn good volley roll.
Yeah, it is. I don't even need you to roll damage here because these are these are minimally. So you're spending 2 of your 3 ammo basically.
Yeah.
Is what you said. Okay. And now keep in mind that ammo is an abstract. It's not like you have 3 arrows. Ammo
Right.
is a
I
more
have
abstract thing.
I have
So
near infinite ammo unless I fuck shit up.
yeah, basically. So yeah, so you just sort of let fly here. You're throwing, arrows left and right as you guys start kind of running off. And I think you're able to sort of pin down uh, the the few that you can see here. Um, so basically, that is this Ratul kind of losing sight of you because you have dealt with these horrifying little bird things.
Excellent.
And they do not have an immediate way to track you right now. So you guys, the 3 of you, start booking it, and yeah, I'm trying to think how we want to handle this. Um, can we do? Let's see. Because this to me is well, it depends on how you guys are trying to do this. I mean, at this point, are you doing what you can to try and just run as fast as you can, or are you trying to um, lay low and try and stay out of their sight? What's the intention here?
Yeah, I think the lay low is what I mean would be more Brack style, is
Mm-hmm.
to get into the cover of the wood
Yeah.
and
So to try and get out of this clearing here.
right, because we got all the way in here without either of these things futzing with our dinguses, and if we can get to the point where even if they know we're here, they won't be able to find us. Brack is very good at hiding in
Yes.
natural surroundings. In fact,
Also
he is
that.
invisible. uh, so that's his. That's my move. Is I'd say we'd get to cover and then move slowly and methodically to get out.
Yeah. Okay. So, Brack, you have the advantage of that. Why do I keep doing this? You have the advantage of that. What is that? Your Balteshi thing. Hide natural surroundings. Enemies never spot you until you do something to reveal your position. So, um, I I don't necessarily think you are hiding per se, but so here's how I think we'll do this. Ornn, why don't you give me a let's see, what is this? Actually, I can read this over here. Give me a defy danger.
X.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what makes the most sense here. I think this can either be Dex is getting out of the way or acting fast. Int is with quick thinking. I could probably see either of those. Just to try and so that you're trying to move around between cover and keep yourselves hidden. So I'd whichever
Or
one
would
of
it? I mean, would
those.
it be wisdom in
Well,
like making the good decision not to to flee or fight?
I mean, wisdom is wisdom through mental fortitude is what it gives for wisdom.
Yeah.
I that sounds less applicable to me.
What would it not be? Would it not be by enduring?
No, in Constitution enduring is specifically like that there is a direct like in that could be a thing where if you're just like running full out for as long as you possibly can, like that's where you're doing something that is physically affecting you and you are trying to like push through that when your body is telling you stop.
Okay. Um.
So
So then I guess Dex makes the most sense.
okay, and then Brakk, go ahead and give me an aid roll on this.
Dex. What is my? Oh, my Dex is 0, so it doesn't matter.
Go ahead and give me an aid roll, Brakk, as well. I'm putting less of the onus on you for this just because of the uh
So
your
aid
ability to hide.
with Ornn Bond.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I didn't do it plus Dex.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
What's your plus strength?
So I did it real bad.
So your strength is 2, right? So taking off 2,
It would be a 5.
a 5 plus 1
Plus 1, 6.
is only a 6 still. Okay, well, mark that XP.
Does he have animancy that he could use to cover?
I mean, he has animancy.
No, or it makes sense.
It to be
It makes
fair, it
sense.
does make sense.
But you're not rocking flesh animancy, are you?
I have no idea. I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea.
No. I think you were. Hold on, let me find
Isn't he like blood and bone
that. I
or
think
something
that's
like
what
that?
it is. Yeah.
I think so. I don't even know where to go to check that.
Mine's in my animancy problem / damage details section.
You can write it in
You could
your
have
your character
animancy
sheet
in
somewhere.
here.
Also, would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're
I just don't have it in there.
blood and bone are your primary elements. And thought and sense are your weakness elements.
Right.
So he could still try to use.
Well, so
No.
okay, so you fail the move. So let's call the fallout here, because I get to make a move as hard as I want, and that's how things happen here. So, great. So, yeah. So you're a big dude. Trying to hide is not your strong suit. And so I think you're doing your best. But this wild area is it's very wild, right? There's lots of scrub, and there's just everything is very close, especially once you get out of this kind of clearing in the immediate area of these pillars. So it is very difficult for you to try and do anything with any significant amount of stealth. So as you guys are um, running through here, um, you you see the as the red one is up there circling, you again have sort of lost sight of the big white one for now, because the tree cover is pretty dense, um, and you see behind you, as you guys are trying to sort of get out of here, especially you're not going super quickly, but there are a fairly large number of those hummingbird mosquitoes that have now are starting to sort of filter through the woods as these things are trying to search for you and to find you. Um, and um, Brack, what are you doing to aid Ornn specifically here? What does that look like?
Uh,
Again, keeping in mind that uh, I'm not I wasn't asking for the move from you because I'm assuming that that you're sort of doing your thing a little bit here. Um,
hmm
does that make sense?
Yeah. I think his aid is that he's kind of leading this
Okay.
and trying to pick the quietest routes through the forest that he can spot
Mm-hmm.
as they're moving. Uh, and trying to keep in mind that he's got two people who are much bigger, even though Kinna's well acquainted with this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's still quite a bit bigger than Brakk, so trying to make sure that he's not forcing them under like large branches or through tiny crevices or
Yeah.
places where like their weapons are going to scratch on stone and make a lot of noise and stuff like that. So I think it's just being aware of his surroundings enough to to take us in better directions than.
Yeah. Cool. Um. So so you so Um, so that to me says you're kind of the one sort of leading here. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you said. So we'll say that Kinna is kind of following up, sort of holding up the rear, kind of with Ornn here a little bit. But okay, so a couple things. Um, so number one, um, you guys kind of booked it out of there real quick, and you oh, sorry. And then, as a result of the sort of not being very well prepared, um, I have a couple things. Let's go and look through your inventory. I'm going to give you a couple options to pick from, and I would like each of you to tell me um, what one thing you forgot up in the camp. Um, okay, so you have. So Ornn, you've got. Doo, doo, doo. Your rations, your poultices and herbs. Okay, so you don't have a pack, right?
Guess not.
Okay. So
I left the one coin that I had.
um okay, so Ornn, you have your dungeon rations, so your food and your poultices and herbs there. Um so let me think. So we'll call the two of those things your kind of your so Ornn's gear, Brakk, your gear consists of your rations, and you have coin on you,
It says I have one. I think it's just a placeholder.
1 weight. I mean that is a question. Did you bring coin with you?
I can't imagine that he would have.
Okay. So you have no coin then. That is fine. Okay, so your options, your gear consists of your rations and
I think.
your bandages. Uh,
Oh, I was gonna say I think Brakk probably left his short sword.
okay, okay,
If he was sitting uh on watch, I imagine that he would have had his sword off of his belt sitting next to him.
okay.
And in the
So you're
like heat of that moment, probably just left it sitting there as they jumped off.
okay. Um, okay. So sorry. This is the way we'll do this. So of your individual things. So you've got your dungeon rations, your short sword, your bandages, your adventuring gear. Ornn, you have your dungeon rations and your herbs. Um, so I think, yeah, if we're gonna set this out individually, I'm gonna say that each of you forgets 2 things, and the other thing that we have to make sure to account for, um, as being a thing forgotten potentially here is uh, the the little sort of clue items that you found. So I'll count that all as 1 basically. So there's the 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 bloody arrow, the note, and the Faethan medallion. Wait, actually, here's a better way to do it. Sorry, I'm making this up as we go. I will let you, because Brakk, you have a lot more gear than Ornn does. Um, I will let each of you pick 2 things to have with you. So Ornn, you have your dungeon rations, your herbs. Brakk, you have your rations, your short sword, your bandages, your gear, and then there's also the 3 clue items. So each of you gets to pick 2 things that you have with you of that.
I only have 2 things.
You only have 2 things, but either
So
you
Orn rolls shitty and then gets to keep all of his stuff, and I suffer.
here's the important thing. If if uh if neither of you takes I mean the I will let either of you have the 3 clue items. If that's something you want. So
Uh, yeah, I'll say Brakk had the clue items. Maybe that's why he missed watch, was
okay.
because he was kind of puzzling over these items
Okay.
uh when this went down. So he's the clues and uh his bandages, because he just always has those on him as a doctor.
Okay. So that means you don't have your food.
Nope.
And you don't have your short sword, and you don't have your gear, your adventuring gear.
No. Which was, you know what? It had already had 2 uses gone out of it,
All right.
so
So what even? Okay. So then, so Ornn, you get to keep both of your things then.
Yay!
I mean, advantage of traveling light, I guess.
Boom.
Okay, so that was a thing. That thing number one here. So as you guys are running through here, uh, the hummingbird mosquitoes are sort of approaching behind you, in this big sort of like fanned out wave. They're sort of on search mode, as the red retool is kind of circling above in the general area. Um, and as you're trying to make your way, you're sort of snapping things and, Ornn, and making noise. Um, uh, and you guys are trying to make your way as quickly and quietly as possible, but it doesn't go super well. And you're all sort of, I think Ornn steps on something like, particularly snappy or whatever. Brakk, you look back towards him. Keep in mind this is all happening again, sort of in the very early morning, so it's not quite. It's still dark out, basically. Um, and just as you look back towards Ornn, um, at like 20 to 30 feet ahead of you, you hear this enormous crash, as the giant white one bursts through the trees and with one of its back legs like rips a tree hole out, and sort of tosses it to the side, and sort of lands uh, in this bit straight ahead of you. What do you all do?
I think it's time to be sneaky anymore. And Ornn turns and just starts running.
Which way?
So we're going. So it's in front of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So over
Yep.
here.
So this is
So then
pretty well organized in terms of where you guys are going.
where we needed to go.
Yeah.
Then I guess kind of to the like to that side of it. That way we're still getting out of its territory. Whatever way's out of its territory, but not directly at it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So I will tell you that, um, I mean, especially without any concerted effort to try and figure out where its territory borders lie, you have no way of knowing where that is.
Okay. Then I have no idea. I look at Kinnarenth puzzling, like, what do we do now?
Think Brakk kind of slowly with his hands out in front of him so that because it can see us right now.
Yes.
I'm guessing it's well aware of where we are.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of slowly with his hands out in front of him, and looking down, but also towards it. Just says the word peace, and waits to see what happens.
um,
Imagine it doesn't get talked to by anything a whole lot.
no,
So
no, that's a good point. Um,
and whatever peace would mean to it. So,
yeah. So I think here's what I think that will get you. Um, and I think the answer to that is not much. um, but I think you you get you get an extra kind of moment of confusion from it, um, before it will uh before it, it will sort of do your thing, because I think it gives you this kind of weird, like it kind of looks around for half a second, like trying to figure out what, like, where this voice that it can understand is coming from, basically. um uh so if there's anything that uh either of the two of you want to do, you have a moment to do that. um
Hmm.
so
Uh,
you bought yourself a couple seconds.
yeah. I think then is Ornn did Ornn bolt? Like, is that what happened?
uh
No, because I was told I didn't know where I would be going. So we asked that, and I think Orn just looks at Kinnarenth and is with like a puzzling look, like, well, okay, what now, or where to now?
Okay. So then after I say peace and it looks confused for just a second, uh, I turn my head just slightly to Kinna and I say, hide Ornn. I'll take care of this. And then I burst as fast as I can run, headed just south of this thing. And like wildly running as fast as I can. I mean, this thing would recognize this as like peak prey behavior.
mm, yeah, I think as you do that, um it sort of uh it it sort of like throws its head up and does this just horrifying sort of shriek again. And in that shriek you hear uh a kind of a twist, like sort of being able to partially understand it. You hear this kind of twisted sense of glee, um and you get from it the words, "No peace, only food," and it comes trucking after you.
Yep, this is the plan.
um so in that moment, as Kinna gets that, I think um Kinna kind of like throws you down kind of behind a sort of a bush base of a tree or something, um to keep you away from the eyes of the big white one. And as when he feels that it's clear enough uh for that one to get out, you can hear the sort of the buzzing of these hummingbird. um so Brakk bolts off this way, this one goes over here. You can hear the hummingbird mosquitoes getting very close behind you. So what do uh um
Orn. So Kinna is like on top of him at this point,
Yeah, I mean
or
he
like
kind of
holding
like
him
sort of,
down.
yeah, sort of like throws you like against the like behind a tree, or sort of like down, yeah, like in a tangle of roots or something. So yeah, sort of like on top of you, beside you, kind of a thing.
Okay, so Orn pushes him off of him and says, "What are you doing? We can't let him face this alone."
Um and I think he looks at you, and there's there's a I think you see a good handful of emotions kind of fly across his face, sort of a a mix of sort of fear and like a little bit of anger, a little bit of um, uh, a little bit of um, not like a tiny flash of like almost hopelessness, and another flash of like determination, and just a whole bunch of that stuff like that, and all of these things sort of flash across his face like in an instant as he looks back at you, and he kind of ends up with this sort of bewildered like expression and says I don't know how to fight that thing. That there is no dealing with that. But we have to go. Um, and he looks back towards the things that are getting closer and closer, um, and he looks over towards uh, where Brakk has ran off in this thing, and he says, "I don't know that we can all survive this," um, and sort of sets his jaw a little bit and looks off sort of in the other direction, um, and and then I think he looks back towards Brakk and starts running
Towards me?
towards Brakk.
Damn
And Ornn follows.
So Brakk, what you doing?
it. Trucking. Uh, Brakk is running flat out at this point, just trying to keep ahead of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I have a plan
All right.
that I would like to try.
All right.
Uh,
Let's hear it.
and Brakk is doing this without knowledge of what the other two idiots are
Of
doing
course.
because they're not doing what he told them to. Uh, so he's running as fast as he can, and I'm picturing, just like this dense wooded area that he's running through, um, hearing this gigantic bird dragon. I mean, is this thing like crashing through trees
Yes, absolutely.
behind me?
So that's, I mean, that's your potential saving. I mean, one of your potential only saving graces here is that you're able to sprint through through the underbrush and stuff, and this thing is
Yes.
having to full on crash through trees and sort of making half like leaps over things, and yeah.
So Brakk is running, and what he does is once he feels like, if he feels like he gets like, can I get just like a little bit of space between myself and this thing as it's crashing through behind me?
Um, I
Like,
think
I don't need
it's.
much.
I
I need
think.
like a moment.
I think that will depend on a roll.
Okay.
Is what I think. So for flat out running, that sounds like a Defy Danger Dex to me.
Okay, I can do this. And I am on normal, nothing forward. Roll. Ask. Defy danger.
I hope you do not fail this roll.
Dex. Submit. That's real damn good. I'm hot today, boys. It's a 14.
All right, so you get your moment. I think it hits a tree or something that is a little sturdier than it thinks it is, and gets half a second where it loses a little bit of its momentum, and you get a a bit out of ahead of it. What's your play?
Oh, so I feel, and maybe this is animancy that tells me, like my that there's just some wind at my back, and I can feel that I've gotten my moment to turn and do this. And so I turn and I hold my hand back towards it, and I channel my thought animancy, my strength. What is this? Yeah, thought animancy.
Okay.
And using reach and root, I cast this like animantic bolt that if this were to hit, this is what I picture happening.
Okay.
I hold my hand out thinking that I'm gonna do kind of what I've done with breath animancy previously, and kind of like shoot something from me. But what actually happens is I hold my hand out and there's this swell that travels through the ground in front of me. And maybe it's this tree that it just hit that's a little bit denser, but roots just spring out around this thing and momentarily like try to encase it. So that's what I'm trying to do with this.
Okay.
And my root move. So let's go
So
ahead.
thought is your other
Yeah, breath and thought.
other breath and thought. Okay. So yeah, so this is good that you took your moment to get out of here, because thought has that innate slow tag. So this is a thing where as you're running, this is a thing where you feel yourself having to sort of like charge this up a little bit. So you needed that bit to
Mhm.
get out in front of it. Yeah, absolutely. Um, and you were looking to. Okay, great. So give us that deal damage animancy.
Is this damage or is this problem? Because I'm not
This
damaging.
is
I'm just
so
status affecting.
okay.
I mean, not that it matters. It's the same roll.
Yeah, because I mean, because I have the tags on the damage one. But I mean, if
I don't need this thing madder than it is, so I'm not trying to damage it.
That's fair. So if you're just using your
This is distract.
thought to try and hold it in play, like one of the thought things is control. So if you are trying to sort of hold this thing in place, um,
Oh, I don't have control on mine.
it says thought relating to patience, wisdom, memory, control, and choice.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So those are the things that sort of thought governs, basically.
I just have my tags.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, if you ever need to reference that, that's all in the Animancy handout.
Yeah.
Yeah. So give me that roll for the solve a problem then, if you're looking to to try and do that.
I've got my -1 forward on. Here we go. Yes.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Okay, so on a 10 plus, the spell certainly helps, but choose one.
I'm going to do it. It won't last long, so I'll need to hurry to take advantage of it. And it's gonna sap
just one
of
you only need
my.
to choose one.
Oh, is it? Nice.
7 and 9 is where you need to choose two, so you only
Oh,
need
okay.
to choose one.
I'm just so used to rolling shit.
I don't know, right?
So I do this, and then as soon as I see, so like this wave of thought energy that's just traveling through nature around me, emanates out of me with my hand outstretched towards it, and this tree comes alive with vines and just roots grab on to this gigantic bird, and Brakk, from standing like rooted in place, just quickly turns behind a tree and disappears. Goes into hide mode.
So okay, so here's how this goes then, I think. So you sort of reach out with this thought energy, and I think as you it's like you're sort of extending your mind kind of behind you, trying to look for a way uh, to to stop this thing. And it's like you have this this thought in your head as you're trying to do this like halt stop, right? And you're trying to find somewhere uh, to find purchase with that thought. Um, and you it I think you it's sort of like you sort of passing this wave of thought over, and initially find it too hard to get into the mind of this creature, because it's just so bent on on eating you right now. um and so as you're passing it off, you catch uh this this what you perceive as a mind of this tree that it runs into, and you find yourself somehow inexplicably able to have that momentary moment of mental contact with this tree, um right, and
And
you
I don't think that's that surprising to Brack at this point because he's used root as uh one of his beast strike attributes before.
okay.
So he is connected with an arrow before, like a a very clearly dead piece of wood,
Yeah.
and told it to grow and root someone in place before.
Yeah, and so I think in a way that this is an echo of that, but yeah, you're talking to sort of somehow on some level communicating with this dead piece of wood, and now you're communicating with this wood that is alive, and you can see the similarity of that, but it's this thing that is so much more vibrant and beautiful and whatever, but whatever that kind of wild split second thing happens, you find purchase in the mind of this tree with that halt stop command, and you feel this acceptance from that, and sort of receiving of that communication, and that tree just sort of like uh, for this moment it's kind of comes alive somehow, and throws these roots up and wraps it around uh, part of this bird enough to um, to distract it and sort of pull its attention, um, and it takes that moment to get caught. One of its wings or one of its feet gets wrapped around by those vines, and then it sort of grabs it and just sort of rips it out whole from the ground, um, and snaps it in half and breaks it and sends it flying. But that has given you at lot long enough to duck behind a rock or something, or a tree or whatever you said, and to hide yourself. And so after it just like snaps this tree in half, it goes barreling on, um, trying to find you. It screams, and you can see these um, those hummingbird mosquito things. There's like a swarm of them sort of like bursts out from its crest, that sort of like glowing luminescent red orange crest of feathers on its head, and sort of a flock of them kind of bursts out and sort of flies forward, to try and uh, sort of be like a large swath of area around it as it sort of goes barreling forward. Ornn and Kinnarenth, what are you guys doing, um, as you're sort of running? I would imagine kind of alongside ish and behind some of these things. You're trying to keep away from this scouting party of the hummingbird mosquitoes behind you, um, and I think as you guys are booking it, you're s- you know catching the attention of some of them a little bit as well. Um, but what's your play here?
So I think we're running alongside all of the like broken trees,
Mm-hmm.
so not in the direct path,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. So
right next
yeah,
to
I
it.
imagine you sort of like paralleling it, and you see this thing. Um, yeah, I mean you're close enough that you're able to see what just happened there. So you see it sort of snap this tree up and just go barreling on. Um, uh, Obviously having no idea that Brakk is still there, basically. Um, so as the mosquitoes behind you are starting to get closer, um, they're at least a few of them have sort of found you as you guys sort of go bolting off and are now in pursuit. Um, so what? Yeah. What are you doing with that as you're going here?
So you're saying there's some like right on us?
Not right on you, but they're behind you and sort of are on your trail. And sort of are coming for you.
And did we see what just happened with the giant dragon bird?
Yeah, so you saw it get wrapped up and then rip the tree in half and then keep going on. But like I said, there's no way that you would know. Uh, as far as you know, Brakk is still running in front of it, and it's still chasing Brakk.
Oh. Yeah, I think if that was the case, then we would just keep running straight forward,
So you're
thinking that he was in front of it.
yeah. And I think as you're trying to do that, like Kinna is trying to sort of take kind of pot shots back at the mosquitoes. He's maybe like hit a couple of them. Um, uh, as you're running, it's I mean, honestly, probably pretty impressive that he's able to do that as you're sort of like running full tilt and sort of fire a couple shots back. But um, uh, yeah, so you're just gonna keep running and try and stay ahead of these ones behind you. Is that
Correct.
your plan?
Correct.
Okay. Um, so that to me sounds like um, I would I could see a case for uh, a defy danger either. I mean, I know you wouldn't want to
Dex
do
or
it. You would
Constitution.
do a dex. I could see a case for. I don't know that. I could see a case for a strength. If you're just trying to like hoof it as hard as you can. Um, and or actually, you know what? Constitution is a good call because, um, just to get the different version of what Brakk was doing, where he's sort of like jumping over things and dodging between limbs of trees and bushes and stuff. You're just kind of like barreling through.
Right.
So you probably like have your shield up in front of you or something. Kinnarenth is just behind you, and you're just like crashing through the underbrush here.
Right.
So I could see strength or a constitution, depending upon the exact flavor of how you're doing this.
So yeah, exactly. I think he's in the front, shield out ahead of himself, and just swatting branches, everything as he goes. He's a miniature dragon bird, just like making an absolute mess of everything, leaving a trail of branches behind him.
Awesome. So you do that, and you're able to keep ahead uh of these birds behind you. So at a certain point, Brakk, from your hiding spot, after uh, the Ratool has barreled on ahead of you, the white one. Um, I think there's maybe still a couple hummingbird mosquitoes sort of back in behind it there. Um, but you you see Ornn uh come up alongside, sort of in parallel to the path of the Ratool. barreling through, like he said, his own mini retool. um, and you wouldn't be able. I mean, uh, basically, the situation there that is going on is if they go too much further, they're likely to barrel straight into the sort of vicinity of the white
Right.
retools.
I have a thing I want to do,
All right,
but
let's
I
hear it.
need you to tell me if it's available to me.
Okay.
Do I have a piece of like something I could write with on me?
I mean, you don't have your dungeon pack,
Yeah,
your
I do not
dungeoning
have my
gear.
adventuring gear anymore, which is very sad in
Um,
this moment for what I want to do.
yeah, I'm glad that actually has consequence.
But I am a doctor. I would have a notepad and
Yeah. Um. Here's what I'll do. Um.
you know what? I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't have it. I don't need it. It's fine.
Great.
I know what I'm doing.
Okay. Tell me what you're doing.
Uh so I so this thing goes crashing past me, and then I hear something much smaller crashing behind. And Brack pulls an arrow and then reaches down and grabs a bandage and pulls it off uh, and wraps it around the tip of the arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just as they come into sight, uh, fires it at the tree in front of them.
Okay. All right.
Uh, I'm trying to be quiet.
Yeah. Great. So don't give me any more explanation than that. Um. Because I'm interested to see how, for one, how this happens, and for two, how Ornn and Kinnarenth take it.
Yes.
um, so go ahead and give me a volley, because I think this does require a shot here. Because, like I said, uh, they're on this kind of like parallel path. Um,
Mhm.
so it's not like a, yeah.
All right. I am back to +1 forward.
Great. That's an 8. Deal your damage. Choose one.
I mean, I'll do. You take what you can get and deal negative 1d6 damage
All
if
right.
I can,
So here's
because
here's I
it's a
think,
non-damage dealing shot.
yeah. Um.
If you're not accepting that, I will waste. I'll take. You have to take several shots, reducing your ammo by 1.
Yeah, I think here's what I'll do. Instead of that one, because it's not necessarily applicable, I will say that it can hit Ornn. Um,
I'd rather take several shots.
okay, and so I'll let you hit Ornn with that minus 1d6 damage. I mean, because you've wrapped the front of it with bandages.
Ah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'll let you take that as an option. Um,
Well, let me see here.
what's your damage?
Let me. My damage is. I'm gonna. Where is my damage? It's. It's not on Beast Strike, right?
Your damage is just your damage
Oh,
die.
It's D6.
D6. And
But
Ornn's got armor.
it's D6 plus 1d4 because Beast
Because of
Strike is
B
still
strike.
on, even though I'm not using, I'm not trying to use it.
Right. And that's not a thing you can
But
just
that
like turn off.
So it's
I
just
don't.
a 1d4.
Let me see. I don't think that's something I can just turn off.
It's down here.
it's a few minutes to clear my head
Oh, okay,
to
okay.
take it off.
I mean, I'll say this: I will give you because you've had a little bit of time in there. So if you want to take the beast strike off, I will let you do that. But then you're going to have the beast strike
He,
off until you can make
he
camp
wouldn't.
again.
He wouldn't.
Okay.
It would not be a thing that would cross his mind because he would think that those two would have done what he told them to and hidden.
um. So. Yeah. So those are your choices. Um.
I'm
Put
gonna
yourself in
reduce
danger.
my.
Shoot down.
I'm gonna
Okay.
take several shots
Take
and
shots.
reduce my.
So now you have 0 ammo. Is that correct?
I have 0. Yes, 0 ammo.
Okay. Um. Does that mean you
Does that
have
mean?
no arrows left?
I don't think that's what that means. I think that means I can no longer do like additional things with my
Okay.
like I can because I can do like extra stuff with volley, and now I don't have the option to reduce my ammo anymore. So if I fuck up a volley and have to take something negative, I have to take one of the worst negatives than just lose ammo.
Let's see. Let me look this up real quick.
That's how I've understood it. I
Uh
could be
huh.
wrong.
Equipment. Ammo.
So how much damage am I taking?
So you're not.
You're
He's
not.
not shooting you. So ammo counts as ammunition for appropriate range weapons. The number indicated does not represent individual arrows or sling stones, but represents what you have left on hand. I
Oh wait. Sorry. I have 3 bundles of arrows, which each have 3 ammo. So I've used 3
Oh, okay, okay.
3 ammo. I still have 2 more
Bundles.
bundles.
Okay,
So
great.
I still have 6 more ammo. I'm just down from 9.
Okay, you are just rolling in arrows right now.
Well, I am primarily an archer.
I mean, it's fair. Okay, great. So mark that ammo off then.
Yep, done.
Um, and you know what? How many uses does your bandages have?
Let's check. I don't think I've used them since I replenished.
Take off
Yeah, that'd be my first use.
3 use. Yeah, take off 1 use of your bandages as well because you're taking a bunch of shots with these bandage wrapped arrows or whatever.
Okay.
So like the
Number.
first shot you take, you're trying to sort of weave a shot really carefully through this like dense underbrush and whatever, and the first shot you take sort of like hits a tree 10 feet away from you, and like another shot you take gets carried by a burst of wind, and whatever, so it takes you a couple shots to try and get this arrow. But so Ornn and Kinnarenth, you are charging through here, and yeah, and all of a sudden as you're charging through, an arrow flies out, and lodges itself, flies out past your face, and lodges itself in a tree to your left, and has this bandage wrapped around the front of it. What do you do?
Uh, stops and turns to where the arrow was fired from.
Okay. Keep in mind you've still got these things behind you.
Okay, that's fine.
Um,
I'm very confused right now, so that's what's happening. Not me. I being
right.
born. Not.
Um, so you stop, and Kenna stops and looks at you and like looks back towards the direction of the arrow, um, and what is your thought process here?
Um. What the heck was that? Like, it's like the thought process is I know somebody who shoots arrows. Somebody's trying to either. I mean, I'm looking at the arrow itself that looks like it's wrapped.
Hmm.
So I'm knowing. I think it's pieced together pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, you could recognize the fletching or something. I don't think it's hard to, especially wrapped in a bandage. I don't think it's hard to surmise uh, that this came from Brakk. Um,
Right.
Can we update the map to reflect where everyone is right now?
yes, that's great. Thank you. I will do that. And let's do this. What color are these going to be? Let's make them some gross green color. Oh, that's not green. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead while I'm doing this.
What are we going ahead with? Oh,
Ornn. What Ornn
it's
is
AJ.
doing. Yeah.
What am I doing?
What are you doing?
That's the question.
Walking back towards where the arrow was fired from.
Okay. I mean, again, you've got hummingbird mosquitoes on your tail here. I just want to make sure that that's
Okay, I'm tired of those. I'm turning around and I'm taking a big old swing with a shield
okay.
at him because I'm just over it.
Great. So,
That's just hack and slash plus strength.
yeah. So you just turn around and great. That's 10. So there's a sort of a group that, like I said, that group had been sort of on you guys, and can I move these? Surely I can move these, right? Yeah. And you you just turn around and stop, and they kind of dive in directly at you, uh, and you just take a good couple swings at them and swat them all down. And it's a good thing that you rolled well on that. um, so you I guess you guys would be up further this way too. And these ones are dead. Great. So you are out of mostly immediate danger at this exact second. So you go and look over towards where you think this arrow came from. What happens between the three of you, I guess.
Um,
I mean, I'm not
gosh,
looking for anything super complicated here.
no, what's the Balteshi curse, Dan?
Do I
I'm looking
have
for
any?
the.
I don't know that I
know. I'm
have any
looking for the.
Balteshi ones.
I'm looking for the something synonymous with good lord.
What are the? There's a couple that I've used. The I don't know. There's plenty of um expressions that I've used talking about uh the the arc in reference to the gilded arc as in ARC, like curve, which is one of the basically the gods like uh his axe, like basically the god of power, more or less. He has this big axe called the Gilded Arc, and so I've had plenty of or a couple of expressions that involve that, like um, uh, saying, "Oh, they're his head will be under the ark," or
Mm,
that kind of stuff, whatever.
okay, so I think then I say, uh, your head be under the ark. I tell you to hide, and you make so much noise I could have shot you in the dark.
As they're walking past,
Yeah,
a couple of trees with some arrows in them. Some of the other ones he hit.
shut up.
Yeah. Orn looks up and he goes, Brakk, is that you? Why are you yelling?
um, and Kinna comes over and uh between the two of you guys and is like, um uh yeah, basically just sort of ushers you guys on to kind of get moving.
Yeah.
That we're not quite out of the out of the woods is a bad expression, but
Um, Orn walks over to Brakk and says, I guess we must have scared it away by all the noise that we were making, crashing through. Maybe he thought that there was a bigger, stronger beast behind it, so it ran away.
Brakk goes, yeah, that must have been it. Let's get out of here.
um great. So you guys are uh on your way. So um okay, so what's your what is your intention from here?
So
Beautiful.
we're heading kind of in the wrong direction from the Tojeth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, can we circle back around away from? Away from the direction that this big beastie went in.
Sure. So
Uh,
here's the thing I'll say with that. I think as you guys are sort of walking, so you're basically your intention is to try and get back to New Water Nest.
yes.
Um, so I think when you make that known, I think Kinnarenth says, um, I when I was on watch, I can't help but shake the notion of some kind of urgency here. If Arnid was worried enough to come back and demand some meeting with Lelish, there there has to be something going on here, and I can't shake a feeling of urgency from this. You you have that note, yes?
Yeah, and Brakk pulls it out.
And as a
Can we pause and table talk for just a second?
yeah, please.
Um, I need a refresher on what exactly we are actually doing out here. I know
Uh
we came out here to find this dude because he had some information that we thought we needed. Right?
yes. So it's more. I'm typing in what this note said into the chat here, so we have it. Um, so you had been sent by Lelish because she had a level of concern about something that was going on because the basically the call she had gotten from Arnid, this woman, her contact out here, um, was sort of urgent and frantic enough that she wanted to immediately sort of make a meeting, or to get this meeting with her, which as was made clear, was a dangerous thing to do at the time that they did it. Um, uh, so she was going to find out what this woman wanted. That this woman had some kind of a message or information or something for Lelish that she was concerned enough to, like I said, blah blah, blah. And then of course she was killed because
Mhm.
the Ebon Armada agents attacked that meeting after they had found out about it, probably because it was kind of a rushed thing in dangerous circumstances, and Lelish wasn't able to get any information from her because she was killed. So she sent you to
Oh,
try and.
frick.
You okay?
Yeah, sorry.
She sent you to try and figure out uh, what this was, basically. What to try and figure out anything you could about what was going on, what she so urgently needed to talk about, um, and all that deal.
And uh, so I had this written down, but that wasn't the directions to this hideout. That's the note we found in the hideout that
Correct.
said above the falls through the. Okay, I was mistaken. I had that wrong in my notes.
Okay. Yeah.
That was instructions on how to get where we were going now, or where we'd just been.
No. Yeah. Yeah. That was this note that you had found inside of this hideout. That is, yeah, something different.
Okay. So yeah, then I think Brakk is probably going to yield kind of direction to Kinna then in trying to find like what this is talking about, because he doesn't know the terrain.
Hmm.
Like we have to find the falls and then find the. I don't know even know if Brakk knows what a Gueris is.
So yeah, when you initially found this note, Kinna explained that he was kind of confused by the naming of the Gueris, because the Gueris is a type of like a lizard, basically, that has like three heads and and so such, but it's not at all native to this area, which is why he was confused by it. Um, so there's that. So with a second to kind of gather yourselves here, as you know, as as you can in this territory and such, um, he he's trying to sort of think through. He's looking back over this note and he's trying to think through um, what this could be talking about, and comes to the conclusion that um, there basically there is this is going to be a really bad drawing. I can tell you that now, but there are uh, mountains that kind of curve up and around, basically in sort of this direction, and are the side of the mountain range that Tojeth is sort of up against, up that way. But there's this sort of mountain range here, that's coming down, and uh, as he remembers, at a certain spot there is a huge uh, set of falls, um, up up in one of the passes here.
All right. Well, let's head there then.
Great. So let's make um let's make some more
And undertake a dangerous journey.
yeah, let's make some more journey rolls. Um again, working off of the perilous wilds here. Great. So when you travel through dangerous lands, not on a safe route, indicate the course you want to take on the map and ask the GM how far you should be able to make before you need to make camp. If you're exploring with no set destination, indicate which way you go, which is not you. Then choose one party member to scout ahead and one to navigate, resolving those moves in that order. So if you remember, this is the way we did it last time. So I would say at this point, this is very much not to scale. This very beautifully, awfully drawn map. So I'm going to say that basically from if we put you sort of at a more scaled rate here, let's say that this is going to take 2 days to get there. So you're at the beginning of a full day. So you can get to like halfway, and then you'll need to spend another day to get to there. So if you just want to kind of forge ahead here, there is okay, so another consideration we should make here is that Brakk, you left your food, right?
I did.
I have quite a bit.
You have okay, so you have 3 with 5 uses each, so 15 uses total. Is that? Oh, you have 14 uses left. Is that what you have in your notes there? Okay, great. So you should still be able to make that work.
What's Kinna rolling with too?
I think for the sake of simplification, I'm just gonna say that he is able to sort of like forage enough for himself that basically we don't need to worry about food for him. But like any, so they do have a move in here for foraging, which is when you spend a day seeking food in the wild, and your surroundings are not barren, roll plus whiz, and you can gain food that way. So if you needed to find more food than for just one person, for him basically,
The Bear Grylls of the group.
yeah. So that's an option, just so you're there. But again, that takes a day. Okay, so we need one of you to scout ahead and one of you to navigate. And again, Kinna can make one of these rolls. I believe last time Brakk was scouting ahead and Kinna was the one navigating. Is that what we would like to do again?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Brakk, go ahead and make that. That is when you take point and look for anything out of the ordinary, roll plus whiz. So just give me a wisdom roll here.
A normal wisdom roll. Wisdom.
That is
That's
a
not
7.
great.
On a 7 to 9, choose one from the list of below. That is, you get these. Sorry, these are the options. So 1, you get the drop on whatever lies ahead. 2, you discern a beneficial aspect of the terrain, shortcut, shelter, tactical advantage. Describe it. 3, you make a discovery, ask the GM, and 4, you notice a sign of nearby danger, ask the GM what it is and what it might signify.
I choose one of these.
You choose one of those 4.
Discovery.
Okay, can you give me those again?
Mm-hmm.
Are these on my?
These are in the Perilous Wilds book, which I sent to you a while ago. Don't remember where though. But yeah, I'll still read them again. So 1 is you get the drop.
Undertake, right? Undertake a perilous journey. Not on that.
Yeah, sorry, it is slightly different than the vanilla version of the Perilous Journey stuff.
All right.
Yeah, so 1 is you get the drop on whatever lies ahead. 2, a beneficial aspect of the terrain. 3 is you make a discovery. 4 is you notice a sign of nearby danger. And a discovery is where does it say that? A discovery is anything the party finds that is interesting but not actively dangerous. It might be something beneficial, like studying a freshwater spring, something begs investigation, like an overgrown ruin, or an impediment, like a bog or chasm.
Yeah, I think we make a discovery.
Okay. Great. So during the course of the day, and then let's do the navigate then. So AJ, this would be rolling a do their thing follower move. So Kinna has 2 quality plus 2 quality, I believe. Let me check that. Kinnarenth plus 2 quality, yes. So give me a 2d6 plus 2 rolling for Kinnarenth.
I can do that. Nope. How do I do it?
/R space 2d6 plus 2. I think we had this exact same problem last time. It's been long enough.
7 plus 2, 9.
Okay, great. So that is
Well, if we did this more than every 6 months, I think I'd get it down.
That's fair. They do it, but there's an unforeseen cost, consequence, or limitation. So that's on that. So on navigate, when you plot the best course through dangerous or unfamiliar lands, roll plus int. 79 GM chooses one from the list below. You happen upon a discovery missed by the scout. The going is slow, or you wander off course, or you encounter a danger. Whether or not you're surprised depends on whether the scout has the drop on it. So
Does AJ pick that?
no, GM
Okay.
chooses, which is me. Let's see. So I think what happens is, um, do, 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 do. Trying to see if they have any fun like random tables for discoveries or anything. I don't think they do. Okay. Great. Okay, so here's what happens. So you guys are traveling through here, trying your best uh, to keep a low profile. This the the environment and the sort of the biomes kind of change a lot more rapidly than you would expect them to. In like a normal circumstance. So like whereas you'd usually have like a large stretch of meadows and steppes and insert names of other biomes here. There's it seems a lot more sort of tightly clustered, um, which which Kinna is able to scout to navigate through well. He, like I said, he's loosely familiar with his area. Um, but you come across uh, okay, a discovery. Sorry, I'm trying to link these up and trying to figure out what the best combination of these is going to be, or I should say, most interesting combination. Um, yeah. Okay. So here's so you guys are going along and you find a camp. Uh, as you're making your way through. So this is, somewhere out in this area. We'll say this ends up happening sort of later on in the day, into like the afternoon. Here's a picture of a fire. And there's nothing in the camp that you can see. It's not an active. There's no one in the camp, I should say, that you can see as you approach it. But it is a sort of a bit of area that's kind of cleared out, sort of up against this big cliff wall. Um, there's a bunch of weird kind of tree-like things kind of growing out the sides of this wall. So it's kind of created this sort of awning effect. And there's some kind of not quite caves, but slight indentations into this wall that sort of makes this sort of nice little kind of coved area, that this camp is in. There's a handful of tents, sort of made out of animal skins. It's you would probably guess that this is the kind of camp for the size of about maybe 15 to 20 individuals, based on like the number and the size of the tents and such. Um, uh, and as I said, there's no one here that you can see. Um, what do you do as you approach this area?
I think being a bit on edge from everything that's happened so far,
And also
we
kind of
don't.
tired because you didn't get the best sleep.
Yeah, we don't approach immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of scope the place out. Approach cautiously. Uh, I mean, you said it doesn't look like it's. I mean, it's obviously not in use right now, but can we tell how recently it was in use?
That sounds like a discern realities roll to me.
All right.
If somebody wants to aid that, either Ornn or I can give you a +1 from Kinna.
Hate it, but I will.
So we'll say for this that like Kinna is kind of keeping watch if you're going to do the aid.
I want to look for traps.
Okay.
Are you aiding me first?
Yeah, go ahead and roll
Yeah.
roll that aid. I would like to
Oh,
try and get in the habit of trying to roll aids before we do rolls. I think that's the more proper way to do it. I know we've been doing it sort of the opposite way before, but
I'm going to roll an aid roll.
it's aid or interfere.
Aid
Yeah.
or interfere plus bond, +1 bond.
Yep.
Bond with Brakk. Submit. Ooh, baby.
Great. All right, make that discern realities roll.
I know we're good.
Beautiful. Mark that XP.
Brain no work good.
So Kinnarenth is out scouting, and you guys are sort of searching around this camp. And
I would like to try something else if something doesn't happen directly because of my failure.
I mean it will. That's
Okay.
the way this works. um
6 doesn't change that, does it? Because I didn't take my +1 forward.
no, yeah, it does not.
Well, plus another one for me.
Wait, you
No.
yeah,
You are the +1
the
forward,
+1, yeah.
AJ.
+1 from AJ. So Um, so you guys are looking around this camp, and you know, Kinna is sort of past the out of sight because he's sort of watching the perimeter to try and keep an eye, um, and as the two of you are looking around, um, you are occupied um, with sort of trying to what I mean what is you looking around this camp look like? I guess give me a quick picture
I mean,
of
I
that.
think
Looking for traps.
I think his first Breck's first move would be to go to the fire and try to determine how long uh it had been since it was active.
hmm
Um and then maybe, I mean, the other thing I was going to try was to do a hunt and track roll to see if I noticed like how recently things were disturbed, like the
Yeah,
ground had been disturbed, things like that. So maybe, I mean, that would just be rolled into my discern realities and my failure.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. I think that's a fictional thing that you would be able to manage. Um,
so I don't think he's not messing with like the tents and stuff like that. He's more concerned with like the physicality of the location and how.
yeah,
So like,
yeah, yeah. So yeah, so I think so coming from the navigate role, I think as you guys sort of get to this camp and you start looking around, um, Orn or not Orn, sorry, Kinnarenth comes in from his little sort of scouting thing, and you start to hear um, a bunch of uh, noises from sort of the woods around, and it sounds like sort of like gusts of wind almost. And he comes in sort of hurriedly, um, and as these sort of noises pick up, um, he uh, he comes in from the clearing of trees here from the edge of the woods, sorry, and shouts to you guys, arbor squall, and of course neither of you have any idea what that is. But as he comes running in, you can see coming closer and closer, um, this wave of uh, individual trees that sort of start erupting with kind of big bursts of air. Um, and it's like there's this explosion of air sort of emanating from individual trees, and a lot of the trees as a result of this sort of start rocking violently back and forth, and coming in around the perimeter you can even see uh, bits of the ground start to sort of roil, um, and so he is kind of coming in looking to get uh, to get some shelter from that, where this sort of area where there's not as many of the trees around, um, and as it gets closer and closer, some of the trees that are sort of hanging up off of this cliff start doing the same kind of thing. You get sort of big eruptions of air that sort of like one of the tents on the edge of the camp sort of gets knocked over and goes flying, um, and Brakk, as you're looking around in this camp, you walk into one of the tents, sort of closer towards the cliff wall, um, and you are looking around, and you hear the noise of Kinnarenth sort of coming in and sort of yelling, and you sort of stand up and take a step backwards, and hear a slight kind of rocky crunch as you do. And as you take a look at this, I think Ornn is in this tent with you, looking for traps. um, you you see that this section
You got any traps in here?
towards the edge of the wall of this tent is more sort of like softer dirt than you had initially expected. It's not as sort of like um, packed dirt. And you realize that you have sort of stepped back into this thing where there's these um, sort of quasi-circular um, rocks that look like they're covered in moss, basically. Um, and Chris or Brakk, you hear. I guess actually this is a question. Is your sort of like animal language sort of like on all the time?
Yeah, because it made me think I was crazy for a little while
That's
when I
true.
just hear random shit.
So you hear you take this step and hear this crunch and sort of are looking at these weird sort of like moss covered rocks that are sort of half buried in this soft dirt. And you know, as you start sort of looking at them and sort of trying to dig some of them out, you start to hear um, from all around, kind of outside, this chorus of voices. Um, uh, a large chorus of voices that all sound um, nearly in unison, all saying together pretty urgently, "The children, the children." Um, in this sort of unison chorus, and uh, as you sort of get up to sort of look out of the tent to see where these voices are coming from, um,
Oh
with
no, 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 no,
oh,
no.
okay.
I hear the children, and I say, get out of the tent.
So you get up and get out of the tent, and you, from above, in this sort of like awning of trees that are starting to sort of explode with these gusts of wind and everything, these little sort of small dog-sized creatures. You see a couple of them at first as they start moving, but then realize that there's kind of a lot of them. They look like sort of the size of of a small dog, basically, but their skin is all covered in this sort of like mossy, kind of licheny um, thing. And as more and more start moving of them, more and more of them start moving, you can see their skin sort of shift away from the colors of this rock wall, and sort of turn into like a whole bunch of different colors, greens and blues and reds and purples and whatever. And a couple down that are sort of moving down towards the wall towards you. These sort of slightly amorphous looking things have this small cluster of like basically tentacles at the front of their face that sort of like whoosh out and make this little kind of uh, crunchy noise uh, that they make. And you've got these things up on this wall, coming down towards you, and this, uh, as Kinnarenth called it, an arbor squall coming uh, from the trees. And we're gonna leave you guys on a cliffhanger again.
All right.
Great. So here's this wall of rock. I'm gonna just draw that real quick. Um, Great. So should we do end of session stuff?
Yup.
All right. Sounds fun. End of session. Bonds. Brakk, let's start with you. Go through some bonds. Choose whatever bonds you feel is resolved, explored, no longer relevant. Otherwise, I mean, really, the only ones we're playing with are the people that are here. Really.
Yeah, I don't think I would have resolved or changed Ornn's bond.
Okay, and then while we're here, let's check your alignment as well.
Yeah. I feel like I was responsible and refused to give up despite rejection or disaster.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything specific? I like getting specifics. They're fun.
I feel like just in the face of that thing hitting in front of us, taking charge and like taking that burden of being the one to do it,
Yeah, sure.
to do the dang thing,
I'll buy that.
is just refusing to give up and like move forward.
Uh,
And if that's not good enough, I fired a bunch of arrows to get their attention.
you did. All right, so take 1 XP for that. Ornn, bonds, alignment.
So I did change my Brakk bond.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to read it, but I wrote and tell me if this sounds better. I don't know how we resolve this or anything, but it's Brakk shows a different type of protection. Defends with a strong attack, giving Ornn a new outlook on protection.
Yeah, cool.
So I guess, and this kind of goes hand in hand with my alignment, but what he did it in this one, instead of just standing around waiting for something to attack him, he ran after Brakk, was willing to throw himself, was willing to attack in order to protect.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I got to do that, not that Ornn got to do that, but
you made the choice to do so. Yeah. So so I think the bond with Brakk specifically, I don't think you got the XP for changing it last time, right? To this.
Yeah.
So unless you have any further changes on
No.
that, okay. So
No.
and then yeah. So taking 1 for the alignment then. For that alignment. Did we answer these 3 questions as a group? Did we learn something new and important about the world?
No.
Did we overcome?
Wait, we learned about these new. We learned that these dog things exist.
We did learn that.
You learned it. I don't think you know anything about them though.
But we learned that they exist. We didn't know before. Counts as learning.
I don't know that I buy that.
We also learned that arbor squalls exist, and
right.
but no, we did not.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's enough to count for that. Did we overcome a notable monster or enemy?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that counts as overcoming. So go ahead and each take 1 XP for that. Did we loot a memorable treasure? I do not think so.
Friendship.
Friendship was the treasure all along. Great. So that's that. You're you know, almost halfway on your way, and it's a good time.
Let's do it again, not 6 months from now.
Yeah, that's that'll be the
8 months.
Anyway. Okay. Great. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all next time. All right. Bye. What?
It's for after.
Oh, okay. Bye.